Hey everyone, welcome back to B-Movie Bunker. Today we're looking at Red 2, Red Retired Extremely Dangerous. This is the sequel to Red, 2013, brought to us by Dean Parasat, however you want to pronounce it, who's done a lot of TV, but not a lot as far as movie directing goes. And I think it shows a bit in this movie. I mean, you've got most of the original cast back. You've got Bruce Willis and Helen Mirren and John Malkovich and, was it Mary-Louise Parker, is that her name? I'm probably screwing it up, but I believe that's who it was. You have all those core people back. You don't have Morgan Freeman, which movies without Morgan Freeman are lesser because of that. But it's more of the typical, well, you know, these retired agents get embroiled in something bigger than them and blah, blah, blah. The story's not that good. And I'm not going to fault the story so much as far as the plot, even though the plot was a little too far-fetched. It went... There's where you can go in a spy thriller type or action, whatever, comedy, whatever you want to call it. It's a spy movie. There is that little stretching of believability. There always is. I mean, the Bond movies always had that, you know, with the gadgets and the major villains with their volcano bases. There's that stretching of things. But this one, I think, it stretched it a little too far as far as the storyline that they were going for. I also feel that this was not as good as the first one. I will say it was definitely as good as the first one. And it might be because partly the polish is worn off, that shine is gone from this newer idea of these retired agents. But this one also seemed to try to be more of it went much more comedy than spy movie. In some ways it was almost they went kind of rom-com with the whole relationship between Bruce Willis and Mary-Louise Parker. And it wasn't quite clicking. The action scenes were very few and far between, and most of them were done by the one actor, and I'm probably going to butcher his name, but Byung-hun Lee. His action scenes are phenomenal. They really are great. Everyone else kind of putts around through the movie. I mean, there's a little bit with Bruce Willis, but I like Bruce Willis in some things. However, everything I watch Bruce Willis in, I'm sorry, the man is not a good actor. He's not a good actor. He really, really isn't. I don't care how he is as a person. I mean, I've heard varying things, but that doesn't matter because this is about the movie. And in the movie, he's not a good actor. And when you put him with talent like John Malkovich, who is brilliant in this, I love John Malkovich. I think he's a phenomenal actor. And I don't know of anyone who really plays crazy quite as well as he does. And part of it is how he looks, but it's his deliverance, his voice, his presence. He is a shining star in this, and I will always love Helen Mirren, and her time is not big enough in this movie, I feel. It focuses much more on Brad Pitt, and even trying to bring out more of Mary-Louise Parker's character, and trying to make her a bigger part of it. Fine, but I think the movie suffers overall because you're focusing on this couple instead of, what made the original so much better, which, yes, there was the scenes between Willis and Parker, but that wasn't the whole focus of the movie. It flowed better. The comedy wasn't like it was just going for the jokes. There was still a movie and a story involved. This one seemed more interested in telling the jokes than it did in telling the story. Scale of 1 to 10, it's I don't know. It's kind of like watching your favorite actors getting older. Yes. In some ways, they can then stretch themselves and try to take on different roles, but you can also then see some things like with a Bruce Willis character. What's he going to do as he gets older? He is an action star. That's what he does. He does action movies, and I don't think he's really good in anything else. And when he tries to do comedy, it just doesn't come off quite right. I don't think he's a comedic person. And watching these people get older, it's in some ways, some of them, they lose a thing. They lose that shine they had. They lose whatever it was, that spark, because that spark was something that only associated with the younger person, and it doesn't translate into someone older. Some people can pull it off, a lot of people can't, and unfortunately, someone like Bruce Willis, I don't think he can. So, I'm not saying it was a bad movie. I still had fun for the most part, but I think it's a big step down from the first one. That's all I have for this one. Until next time, you all stay safe out there in the wasteland, folks.